The C7 is the principal small arms weapon of the Canadian Forces. Its role is virtually universal as it's used throughout the range of conflict from nuclear war to peacekeeping and internal security. The initial stage of this lesson is on the characteristics and description of the C7 rifle. First, we will cover the 8 characteristics. It is a gas-operated, magazine-fed, air-cooled, semi-automatic or automatic weapon. It's capable of quick and accurate fire at short-range opportunity targets. It is capable of a high rate of accurate rapid fire at ranges up to 300 meters when used by an individual. It can provide effective section fire at ranges up to 600 meters. It can be fitted with a bayonet for close-quarter fighting. The magazine holds 30 rounds. The rifle weighs 3.3 Ks and 3.8 Ks when fully loaded with a magazine. With its self-loading and fully automatic capability and 30-round magazine, a high standard of fire control is necessary to prevent wastage of ammunition. Now let's cover the description of the C7. The C7 rifle consists of the following major components: the upper receiver group and the lower receiver group. These components are locked together by a pivot pin located forward of the magazine opening and a takedown pin located immediately forward of the butt. Both locking pins are set in the lower receiver group. The upper receiver group comprises the upper receiver, the barrel, the bolt, and bolt carrier. The upper receiver is fixed to the barrel and houses the bolt, bolt carrier, and the cocking handle. A carrying handle, which incorporates the rear sight, is attached to the top of the upper receiver. The ejection port is situated on the right side of the upper receiver and is protected by a dust cover, which is opened by the forward or backward movement of the bolt. To the rear of the ejection port is a spent casing deflector for left-handed firers. A manually operated forward assist fitted on the right rear of the upper receiver is also used to push the bolt fully forward. The barrel is fitted with a flash suppressor. The barrel is surrounded by 2 interchangeable aluminum-lined, glass fiber-filled nylon handguards, which are notched to allow air to circulate. The handguards also serve to protect the gas tube. The front sight assembly is fixed to the barrel. The bolt is operated by the cocking handle located at the top rear of the upper receiver group. The bolt has a rotating head, which locks into the barrel when the weapon is to be fired. The face of the bolt head is centrally holed to allow the firing pin to move forward to strike a chambered round. We will now move to the lower receiver group. The lower receiver contains the trigger mechanism, the pistol grip, and magazine opening. A 3-position selector lever is located on the left side. S for safe, R for repetition, and auto for automatic. The selector lever cannot be placed on S until the weapon is cocked. A bolt catch located on the left side enables the bolt to be held open or released from the open position. A magazine release button is located on the right side. The butt is made of glass fiber reinforced nylon and incorporates a storage compartment for a cleaning kit. Access to this compartment is gained through the butt plate. The upper portion of the butt houses a buffer and a return spring. The butt is available in 2 lengths, normal and short. We are now ready for the second stage of the lesson, the safety precautions. On the order for inspection clear weapon, adopt the standing load position. Hold the rifle by the pistol grip, forefinger outside the trigger guard. Grasp the handguard in an underhand grasp with the other hand. The left foot should be advanced 1 pace. The muzzle should be at an angle of about 1,000 mils. Grasp the cocking handle in an overhand grasp with the right hand and pull the action to the rear. Hold it there. Push in the bolt catch with the forefinger of the left hand. Push the cocking handle fully forward. Return the right hand to the pistol grip. Return the left hand to the handguard. Tilt the weapon to the left and inspect the chamber to ensure that it's clear. At night or in bad light conditions, feel with your fingers to ensure that the chamber is clear. Pull the cocking handle to the rear and allow the action to go forward under control. Fire the action and close the ejection port cover. Step back with your left foot to the at ease position. Ground the rifle with the ejection port up and the front sight in line with the toe of the right boot. Unfasten both pouches and remove the contents. Inspect all pouches, magazines, and dummy rounds to ensure that there are no live rounds present. Safety precautions are to be carried out before and after instruction, before stripping, during issue and return to stores, before and after range practices, when the safety status of the weapon is in doubt. The final stage of the lesson is on safe handling of the C7 rifle with no magazine fitted. When receiving a rifle from another soldier or on picking up a rifle, point the muzzle in a safe direction and carry out the following actions. Pull the cocking handle to the rear and hold it there. Check and ensure that the chamber is clear. Allow the action to go forward under control, and fire the action. Close the ejection port cover. Never point the rifle at anyone in jest. It is extremely important that each soldier knows the capabilities and components of the C7 rifle. Remember to handle the C7 safely at all times. The first stage of this lesson we will cover field stripping, which is carried out for daily cleaning. In order to clean and maintain the C7 rifle properly, the soldier must know how to strip and assemble the weapon properly. First, carry out safety precautions. Do not operate the trigger. Next, ensure the selector is set at S. Push and pull the takedown pin to the right. Pivot the upper receiver group upwards. Pull the cocking handle partially to the rear and pull the bolt carrier group out of the upper receiver. Push the cocking handle fully forward. Remove the retaining pin from the bolt carrier. Slide the firing pin out of the rear of the bolt carrier. Rotate the bolt until the cam pin is clear of the bolt carrier key. Rotate the cam pin 1/4 turn and remove it from the bolt carrier. Pull the bolt out of bolt carrier. Do not strip the bolt. Next, we will strip the magazine. Insert a pointed object into the indent and lift the base plate off. Pull out and separate the spring and platform. This completes field stripping. To assemble the weapon, it is done in the reverse order. Assemble the magazine spring and platform. Insert spring and platform into magazine opening and compress spring and engage the notch of the base plate into the indent in the side of the magazine. Next, assemble the bolt and bolt carrier. When placing the bolt into the bolt carrier, ensure that the cam pin hole with the indentations is at the bottom. Insert bolt into bolt carrier. Insert cam pin and rotate 1/4 turn, locking bolt to the carrier key. Insert firing pin into the rear of the bolt carrier. Slide firing pin fully forward. Insert retaining pin into the left side of the bolt carrier and ensure it is flush with the carrier. Ensure that the bolt is fully forward in the bolt carrier prior to placing the bolt into the upper receiver by pulling the bolt fully forward. Pull the cocking handle partially to the rear. Insert the bolt carrier into the upper receiver so the bolt key is properly aligned and slide the bolt carrier forward. Push cocking handle fully forward. Ensure the selector lever is at S. If the selector lever is at automatic, the automatic sear will interfere with the bolt carrier when the upper receiver is closed down upon the lower receiver. Close the upper receiver by pushing down and engage the takedown pin until it is fully seated. Once the weapon has been assembled, it must be checked to ensure that it has been correctly assembled and is operating. This procedure is known as the function test. Cock the weapon. With the selector lever at S, attempt to fire the rifle. It should not fire. Set the selector lever at R. Squeeze the trigger, firing the action. While holding the trigger back, cock the action and release the trigger. The hammer should be felt and heard, falling from the disconnector, then be caught immediately by the trigger sear. Squeeze the trigger. The action should fire. Set the selector lever to auto. Cock the rifle. The hammer should be held by the automatic sear. Squeeze the trigger, firing the action. While holding the trigger to the rear, cock the action. As the bolt carrier moves fully forward, the hammer should fall to strike the firing pin. Release the trigger. Set the selector lever to R. Close the ejection port cover. The function test must be completed after assembly to ensure that the C7 has been correctly assembled and is in operating order. Now you have seen how to field strip your weapon. In the next stage, we will take you one step further. That is detailed stripping. This is carried out so the user can do comprehensive cleaning after firing the weapon. The first part to be stripped in detailed stripping is the bolt. Pressing down slightly on the extractor, use a sharp object to push the extractor retaining pin out from the bolt. Lift the extractor and extractor pin from the bolt. Do not separate the extractor spring from the extractor. The ejector will not be stripped from the bolt. Remove the handguards from the upper receiver assembly. By pulling the handguard slip ring towards the upper receiver, then lift each handguard away from the handguard cap and put them down. Next, push and pull the receiver pivot pin at the front of the magazine housing and separate the upper receiver from the lower receiver. Remove the cocking handle from the upper receiver by pulling the cocking handle to the rear and pressing down on it. Pick up the lower receiver group and depress the buffer retaining pin slightly. Slowly ease the buffer and return spring forward until they are clear of the buffer retaining pin. It may be necessary to depress the hammer to allow the buffer and return spring to clear the hammer as they are pulled out of the butt and receiver extension assembly. Separate the buffer and the return spring. Set the selector lever to R. Controlling the hammer, fire the action. No further stripping will be done by the rifleman. To assemble the rifle, it is done in the reverse order. First, pick up the buffer and return spring and assemble them. Next, pick up the lower receiver group. Depress the hammer to the cocked position. Insert the return spring and buffer into the recess in the butt and compress the spring. Make sure that the buffer makes contact with the retaining pin by giving a slight twist on the buffer. Next, pick up the upper receiver and the cocking handle. Insert the cocking handle guide ribs into the recess in the upper receiver and push the cocking handle fully forward. Now pick up the lower receiver group and attach it to the upper receiver group by pushing the pivot pin at the front of the magazine housing into place. Next is the handguards. To replace the handguards, pull the handguard slip ring towards the upper receiver. Then place each handguard in the handguard cap and release the slip ring. Ensure that both handguards are seated. Lay the rifle down and pick up the bolt and extractor. Place the extractor into the groove and by pressing down with your thumb, line up all holes and replace the extractor retaining pin. The weapon is now in the field strip state. Regular maintenance of the rifle by cleaning and inspection is essential and is to be carried out on a regular basis as required, before firing and after firing. A cleaning kit is provided with the C7. The kit is contained in a case in the butt of the weapon. It consists of the following parts: the case, a 4-piece rod, a swab holder, a bore brush, a chamber brush, a bolt key brush, a container of cleaner, lubricant, preservative, pipe cleaner, and swabs. The maintenance concept is to use cleaner, lubricant, preservative, or CLP, for all temperatures and conditions. No other oil, solvent, or lubricant is to be used. The CLP must be shaken vigorously before use to ensure that the Teflon particles are returned to suspension. When correctly mixed, the solution should have a milky look. CLP must be applied in very limited amounts, as too much will cause stoppages. Even when wiped dry, the lubricant is still at work on the weapon. Regular cleaning of the weapon consists of cleaning the chamber, which is cleaned with the chamber brush fitted to the cleaning rod handle. The flash suppressor, clean using bore cleaning brush. The barrel. The 4-piece rod, bore brush, and swab holder are required. Attach 3 rod sections together, but leave each about 2 turns short of being tight. Attach the swab holder, leaving it 2 turns short of tight also. Place a swab moistened with CLP in the swab holder. Point the muzzle down. Insert the end of the rod without the swab holder into the chamber. Let the rod fall straight through the bore. About 50 to 75 millimeters will stick out of the muzzle. Pull the rod through the bore and out of the muzzle. The rod will twist tight as pulled through. Replace the swab holder with the bore brush and repeat the drill. The handle will have to be placed on the rod to pull it through. Repeat this action several times. The rods will have to be loosened after 2 or 3 repetitions. Pull through a dry swab. Pull through a swab lightly lubricated with CLP. The bolt and carrier. Clean the interior of the bolt key with the bolt key brush. Dry using a pipe cleaner. Ensure the entire interior is cleaned and dried. Using a CLP lubricated swab, clean the outer and inner surfaces of the bolt. Firing pin recess and firing pin. Firing pin hole. Use a pipe cleaner. Locking lugs. The area behind the bolt ring and under the lip of the extractor. Clean the ejector by holding the bolt ejector down, extractor up. Place a few drops of CLP around the ejector. Place a dummy round or empty casing under the lip of the extractor and rock it back and forward, compressing the ejector. Repeat several times until the ejector moves in and out smoothly. Wipe off excess CLP. Lubricate the bolt and carrier. Apply CLP lightly to the firing pin and firing pin recess in the bolt. Apply CLP generously to the bolt exterior, particularly the cam pin area and bolt rings. Apply CLP lightly on the extractor and pin. Apply CLP lightly to the charging handle and inner and outer bolt carrier surfaces. Apply CLP generously on the slide and cam pin area. Dry the bolt key and place 1 drop of CLP inside the tube. The upper receiver. Clean the external surface with a CLP lubricated swab and the nylon cleaning brush from the section cleaning kit. Wipe dry. Clean the exterior of the gas tube which protrudes into the upper receiver using 2 rod pieces and a bore brush. Use a pipe cleaner to clean as far into the gas tube as possible. Clean the inner surfaces of the upper receiver. Lightly lubricate the inside of the upper receiver, outer surface of the barrel, front sight, and the surface under the handguard. Depress the front sight detent and apply 2 or 3 drops of CLP to it. Depress it several times to work the lubricant into the spring. Lightly lubricate the locking lugs in the chamber entrance. Caution: do not use abrasive material or wire brushes on the aluminum surfaces. The lower receiver. Clean the external surface with a CLP lubricated swab and the nylon cleaning brush from the section cleaning kit. Wipe dry. Clean the interior, paying particular attention to the magazine housing and trigger group. Caution: do not strip the trigger group. Clean the drain hole and the butt using a pipe cleaner. Clean the inside of the buffer tube using the rod and swab holder. Wipe the buffer and spring. Lightly lubricate the buffer and spring and inside the buffer tube. Apply CLP generously to the trigger group, takedown pin, and pivot pin. The butt and handguards. Clean external surfaces. Do not oil nylon surfaces. The magazine. Wipe with a dry swab. Lightly lubricate the spring. Do not oil the body or magazine platform. The bayonet and scabbard. Clean and lightly lubricate metal parts. This completes the regular cleaning of the C7 rifle. It is essential that the soldier be capable of maintaining their rifle in a state of readiness under battle conditions and aware of the need for safe handling. All ammunition is rimless. Its caliber is 5.56 millimeters, and this, together with manufacturing information, is stamped on the base of each cartridge. Ammunition is normally issued in bandoliers containing a magazine charger and 100 rounds in 10 round clips. There are 4 natures of ammunition issued. Ball, or C-77, has a smooth brass cartridge case, a jacketed bullet, and a percussion cap in the base. Tracer C-78 is similar to Ball, but the top of the bullet is painted red. Blank rounds have a smooth brass cartridge case, crimped nose, and a percussion cap in the base. Dummy or training rounds are silver-colored one-piece rounds with no percussion cap. In an emergency, manufactured Armalite ammunition, Ball M193 and Tracer M196, can be fired. Ammunition must be cared for if it is to function properly. Always keep ammunition clean, dry, and free from oil. Never let ammunition lie in the direct rays of the sun, as the absorbed heat can cause inaccuracies when firing. Tampering with ammunition is dangerous and forbidden. Avoid using a round as a tool. However, if it is unavoidable, do not attempt to fire any round used in this way. Do not apply pressure to the base of the round, either with a clip or another round. There is a possibility of detonating the percussion cap and thereby firing the round. Magazines are to be inspected regularly. Damaged magazines will cause stoppages. The magazine issued with the C7 rifle will hold 30 rounds. When on operations, always completely fill the magazine. During training, put in the number and types of rounds ordered. Before filling any magazine, inspect it for signs of damage, particularly in the area of the guide lips. There are 2 methods of filling magazines: by using the magazine charger and by hand. The fastest method is the charger. After inspecting the magazine, grip it in the left hand and position it on a firm surface. Ensure the back of the magazine is facing away from the body. Fit the charger onto the magazine and ensure it is fully seated. Place a clip of 10 rounds into the charger. With the right thumb on the top round, push down until all the rounds are fed into the magazine. Remove and discard the clip. Each time a clip is fed into the magazine, ensure the base of the last round is fully up against the rear wall of the magazine. Fill all magazines and then place the charger in a pouch. The second method is to fill the magazine with loose rounds by hand. Hold the magazine in the same manner used with the charger. Push the rounds into the magazine one by one. Make sure the base of each round is against the magazine rear wall. At times, it may be necessary to remove the rounds from a magazine. Using an empty clip, press down on each second round, thus allowing the top round to fall out. Ensure the rounds do not fall in the dirt. An alternate method is to hold the magazine in the left hand, bullets pointing away from the body. Push the base of the round forward so that it disengages from the guide lips. It may be necessary to twist and pull the round clear. The next stage in this lesson is the weapon sights. The front sight consists of a square post with 2 protectors on either side of it. The rear sight consists of a flip-type leaf sight set in the top of the carrying handle. There are 2 apertures, which are changed by pushing the leaf forward or backward. The small aperture is used at all times, except during close-quarter battle operations, at night or in low-light conditions. The C7 rifle is considered loaded when it has a magazine on it. On the order load, adopt the standing load position. Hold the rifle by the pistol grip and place your forefinger outside the trigger. Keep the muzzle pointed upwards. Unfasten the ammunition pouch and take out a loaded magazine. Check that the top rounds are positioned correctly and push the magazine firmly into the magazine housing. Make certain that it is secure, but do not hit the magazine. Secure the ammunition pouch. On the order ready, or on a range being ordered, check the weapon sights for correct setting. Cock the rifle and ensure the bolt carrier moves fully forward. Do not ride the cocking handle. Strike the forward assist assembly and close the ejection port. Set the selector lever to S. On the order unload, set the selector lever to S and undo your magazine pouch. Remove the magazine and place it in the pouch. Point the muzzle upwards. Tilt the rifle to the right and pull the cocking handle to the rear twice. Hold the cocking handle to the rear. Tilt the rifle to the left and look or feel that the chamber is empty. Let the cocking handle go forward. Set the selector lever to R and squeeze the trigger. Close the ejection port cover. Recover the ejected round. Clean and replace it in the magazine. Put the magazine in the pouch and do up the pouch. When the command "Make Safe" is given, carry out the following drills. Do a complete unload. Then, load the weapon. Do not cock the action. On completion of the drill "Make Safe," your weapon will have the magazine fitted, but no round will be in the chamber. Once ordered to load the rifle, the soldier is responsible for keeping it loaded until ordered to unload. Each firer is responsible for the safe handling of their rifle and must ensure that when the weapon is ready to fire, the selector lever is always at S, unless a fire order has been given. When a soldier is no longer able to ensure its safe handling, when it is handed over to another person or left under guard while he or she is performing some duty, the rifle is always unloaded. On a firing range, the muzzle is always pointed at the sky, at the ground, or in the direction of the target. If an unattended rifle is picked up with a magazine fitted, it is to be unloaded immediately. Always treat your rifle as if it were loaded and never pointed at anyone in jest. The rifle is considered loaded when it has a magazine fitted. It is prepared to fire when the sight is set. It is cocked and a live round is in the chamber. The rifle is only unloaded when it has no magazine on and no round in the chamber. The rifle will normally be loaded in the standing position, and the soldier will subsequently adopt any firing position which may be ordered. Once ordered to load the rifle, the soldier is responsible for the safe handling of the weapon with the magazine fitted.
5-round application. Targets to your front. Your own time. Fire. Fire, just leave your weapons down, weapons aren't safe. Grenade! Just go right over top the bank. Yeah, you'll sink in that water right over top the bank. Go, go, go!
It is essential that the soldier is capable of firing the rifle accurately and instinctively under battle conditions. This can be achieved if they understand and apply the following marksmanship principles. The position and hold must be firm enough to support the rifle. The rifle must point naturally at the target without any physical effort.
sight alignment must be correct. The shot must be released and followed through without disturbing the position. The firer must employ these principles every time the rifle is fired. The basic shooting position is the prone position, since it gives the firer the best support and presents a small target to the enemy and is the least tiring. To properly adopt the prone position, the following action takes place. On the command down, advance the left foot. Hold the rifle in front of the body with the left hand around the handguard. Lie down by breaking the fall with the right hand. The flash suppressor must be kept clear of the ground. The body should be relaxed and form an angle of 200 mils with the line of fire. The left leg lies parallel to the direction of the body with the toes turned inward and the leg muscles relaxed. The right leg is drawn up until the thigh is approximately 1600 mils to the line of the body, and the lower part of the leg lies parallel to the line of fire. The right foot points outwards with the heel on the ground. By drawing up the right leg, the weight of the body is rolled to the left, thus allowing easier breathing and less restriction to the heart, which in turn reduces pulse beat. The firer is to adjust the position of the right leg according to build. The rifle is supported by the left hand holding the handguard and the right hand firmly gripping the pistol grip. The index finger lies outside the trigger guard. If discomfort or difficulty is experienced in adopting the standard prone position, lie slightly oblique to the line of fire with the legs apart. To stand up, place the right hand on the ground. Draw the left hand holding the rifle to the rear. Stand up, readopt the standing position. Holding in the prone position. Once the range is given, the firer takes the following action. Raise the large aperture. Position the selector lever to R. Lift the rifle and place the butt in the shoulder. Left hand should be as far forward on the handguard as is practicable. The left elbow is brought as close to the rifle as possible without exerting lateral pressure against the magazine. The weight of the rifle is supported by the rear outside of the elbow joint, thus achieving bone support. The handguard should lie diagonally across the palm of the left hand. No attempt should be made to either grip tightly or pull backward with the left hand. It should simply support the rifle and maintain steadiness. The position of the butt in the shoulder should not be too high. If it rests on the collarbone, some pain may be felt on firing, causing a tendency to flinch. The right hand is the controlling hand and must hold the pistol grip firmly. The right elbow must then be positioned and must not alter the position of the weapon. The grip with the right hand must be unstrained and must pull the rifle back towards a firm shoulder. No attempt should be made to hunch the shoulder towards the butt plate. The cheek and not the cheekbone must be positioned naturally on the butt, allowing the aiming eye to look squarely through the sight. The head must be upright. Testing and adjusting the position. It is essential that the rifle points naturally at the target. To ensure that it does, the firer is to test and, if necessary, adjust his position as follows. Aim at the target, then relax the hold. No appreciable change of aim should be noticed. If the aim does move by an appreciable amount, it is an indication that the position needs some adjustment. To adjust the position, keep the left elbow stationary and pivot the body to the right or left as needed to correct lateral errors. For errors in elevation, keep both elbows stationary and move the rest of the body forwards or backwards. To confirm that the position is correctly adjusted, rest the rifle and close the eyes, and bring the rifle back to a comfortable position in the shoulder. When the eyes are opened, the aim picture should be on or very close to the aiming mark. With practice, it will become natural to adopt a position that requires little or no adjustment. Aiming. Aim at the lowest central point of the aiming mark on a target with an aiming patch. Aim at the middle of a man or of a figure target. At ranges in excess of 300 meters, aim high. Aiming can never be instinctive. It requires concentration to achieve sight alignment together with correct aim picture, which is a 4-point relationship between the eye, the center of the aperture, the tip of the foresight, and the point of aim. The procedure for aiming is as follows. Close the eye not in use. Look through the center of the aperture and centralize the tip of the foresight. Select a point of aim and focus the tip of the foresight and place it on the point of aim to complete the aim picture. It should be noted that the aiming mark will be slightly blurred. Check that the sights are upright and that the tip of the foresight is still central in the aperture. Eye relief is the distance from the eye to the rear aperture and must remain constant for successive shots. By ensuring this, the apparent size of the aperture remains the same, and centralization of the foresight tip is simplified. It is essential that the soldier be capable of firing their rifles accurately and instinctively under battle conditions. This can only be achieved if the marksmanship principles are followed and that accurate aiming, alignment of sights, and firm, correct holding, especially with the right hand, are practiced and mastered. In this video, you will learn firing in the prone position, how to hold the rifle correctly in the prone position, testing and adjusting the position, and correct aim. Ensure weapon sights are in good condition. One of the principles of marksmanship is that the shot is to be released and followed through without disturbing the firing position. This stage deals with the technique required to do this, and combines all 4 marksmanship principles in the prone position, which are: the position and hold must be firm enough to support the rifle. The rifle must point naturally at the target without any physical effort. Sight alignment must be correct. And the shot must be released and followed through without disturbing the position. A shot should be fired without disturbing the aim. If the soldier is firing from a stable position with the rifle held firmly and pointing naturally at the target, all that is required is control of breathing and a smooth trigger operation to prevent undue movement of the weapon. Breathing is a natural function which will continue without strain until an individual does something to disturb the cycle. It is important, therefore, that firers restrain their breathing in a way which induces no strain. To achieve this, take 2 deep breaths to oxygenate the body. Slightly extend the natural pause between breathing out and in. And release the shot within 6 seconds. During the breathing pause, it is necessary to perfect the aim as near as possible and squeeze the trigger without disturbing the aim. Trigger slack should be taken up just before restraining the breath and perfecting the aim. It is important that the squeezing action of the trigger finger is achieved without moving or reducing the grip of the right hand. Operation of the trigger does not complete the sequence of firing the shot. Follow-through of the shot is intended to eliminate any movement of the rifle caused by the firer relaxing or raising his head before the bullet has left the muzzle. The firer must try to remain on aim, watching the sights and maintaining the firing position for about 2 seconds after operating the trigger. As the shot is fired, the recoil action causes the muzzle of the rifle to move, usually in an upward direction. This movement should be consistent for successive shots. After each shot, the firer must watch for movement of the sights during the follow-through and immediately declare the shot correct or incorrect to the coach. After an incorrect declaration when live firing, the firer and the coach should discuss the fault and its correction. Automatic fire may be employed using the same marksmanship principles. When the order to fire bursts is given, move the selector lever to A. When the aim and hold are correct, the trigger should be pressed long enough to fire a burst of 2 to 3 rounds and then released. Bursts of more than 3 rounds are liable to be inaccurate, as the weapon has a tendency to fire high after the first shot. A strong grip with the forward hand can counteract this. It is essential that the rifle points naturally at the target. To ensure that it does, the firer must test and, if necessary, adjust his position. Once the firing position is stable, restraining the breathing for a few seconds after oxygenating the body with 2 deep breaths, coupled with smooth trigger manipulation, should allow the bullet to leave the muzzle without any undue movement of the weapon. Remember to follow through on your shot and declare your shot, especially when on a live fire range with a coach. As a member of the Canadian Forces, you will be required to produce different types of fire on order from a range officer, or from your section commander, or on your own initiative. You must be familiar with these types of fire and know when to use them in order to apply effective fire with a minimum waste of time and ammunition. In battle, a rifleman usually carries his first-line ammunition, which consists of 5 full magazines, 1 on the weapon and 4 in the pouches. Under operational conditions, the rifleman is also issued with a bandolier containing 100 rounds, which is worn slung over other equipment. It is used to refill the magazines during lull in battle. Some soldiers may also carry tracer ammunition for target indication. Conservation of ammunition must be kept in mind. The high rates of fire that are possible must be strictly controlled to prevent ammunition supply problems. Ammunition expenditure can be controlled by a section commander by calling for various types of fire. One type is deliberate fire, which is a slow rate of fire, not normally more than 5 rounds per minute. When a target has been indicated, put the selector lever to R. Aim, test and adjust your position as necessary. On the command, fire, control your breathing, perfect the aim, fire, and follow through. Lower the muzzle and observe the target area. Continue to fire at deliberate rate. Keep count of the number of rounds fired. Change magazines when necessary. Snap shooting is firing at targets which show themselves for short periods of time. It is similar to deliberate shooting, except that the soldier works faster to reduce the interval between shots, usually firing 2 shots during the 1-breath restraint. The alert position is adopted on the command watch and shoot, and is a good position to adopt when expecting the enemy to appear. It is an easy position to maintain while the soldier is observing his arc of fire. To adopt the alert position, push the selector to R. Bring the butt into the shoulder with the muzzle pointing downwards and watch the target area. Firing a number of quick shots in succession is called rapid fire. It is similar to snap shooting, except that the soldier may fire more rounds. With practice, the soldier will be able to fire 20 or more accurate shots at different targets in a minute. When automatic fire is required, the order will be bursts, rapid fire. On hearing bursts, the selector lever is set to auto on fire. Fire as quickly as possible in bursts of 2 to 3 rounds while maintaining accuracy. To allow the chamber to cool during lulls in rapid fire, cock the rifle, engage the bolt catch, and open the ejection port cover. If time permits, replace the round in the magazine. To get ready to fire again, release the bolt catch. It is important to apply the sequence of firing a shot for all types of firing. Proper breathing, trigger manipulation, and follow-through techniques are key points in improving marksmanship.